Hello everyone. Ice Hearts Part 2, this time from KyouHaba's POV, to know what our favorite boy is thinking about this whole thing. Definitely not because I wanted to write the last chapter from his POV and not including his POV before would feel weird. But anyway, I hope you will enjoy. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who subscribe and watch these videos. You are keeping this channel alive and going. Thank you very much, and let's go. They settled on the bench in the park, far enough from the festival to muffle all the ruckus going on around the stalls. Squeezing a plush seal to his chest, a prize Kyotane won for him in the hoops, KyouHaba glanced at the blonde next to him, who was frowning at a pair of small kids running around screaming. His heart fluttered, remembering the look of absolute pride Kyotane had when he handed him the plushie. He was surprisingly good at aiming for a hockey player. But then again, he had to aim when shooting on the net, right? He shook his head. Better not to think about Kyotane as a hockey player. The man was nice, and despite his gruff outside, had a gentle side in him KyouHaba hadn't seen before he invited him for a coffee 3 days ago. He didn't regret a single minute he spent with the other man, but as soon as he recalled he was a hockey player, doubts started to gnaw in his mind, the small part of his consciousness warning him to be careful. He knew he was being unfair to him. After all, he didn't do anything that would imply he was a bad person, but the memories were still fresh in his mind to be completely ignored. And meeting Oikawa brought some of it to the surface. Aren't you going to ask? Kyotane leaned back on the bench and shook his head. No. I think you would tell me if you wanted to talk about it. I'm not going to push you into telling me something you don't want. KyouHaba found himself smiling, a warm feeling spreading around his chest. He patted the plushie in his lap, wondering if he was actually dreaming. But a single pinch of his skin told him he was indeed where he was, with a man he would gladly start a relationship with. The thought surprised him. He was avoiding dating as much as he could, worried he might burn himself again. But with Kyotane, everything felt so natural and easy he almost couldn't believe it. They couldn't be more different, and yet... His gaze fell on Kyotane's hand, his own hand itching to know how would Kyotane's skin feel against his, and how well would their hands fit into each other. Would Kyotane hold his hand if he reached out for it? Or if he straight up asked? He looked at the plush seal and got an idea. He slowly inched it towards Kyotane, nudging his side with its nose. Kyotane raised an eyebrow at him, but a small smile playing on his lips filled KyouHaba with more determination. He moved the seal up and down Kyotane's side, nudging his arm and thigh. Kyotane snorted. You look like a child that wants attention. KyouHaba nudged him with the seal's nose again, his cheeks warming up. And what if I do? What if I really want to hold your hand right now? He bit his lip, digging his fingers into the soft fur of the plushie when Kyotane's gaze fell on their hands. Do you really want to? KyouHaba nodded. Yes. It's okay if you don't want to. It's our first date after all, and I don't want to push you into things, so if you think... Words died off in his throat as Kyotane slid his fingers along the back of his hand, the gentle touch of his rough skin sending waves of pleasant tingling into his whole arm. He only realized he stopped breathing at some point when Kyotane spoke up again. Is that okay? He let out the held breath and took a leap, entwining their fingers together. In a sudden surge of bravery, he caressed Kyotane's skin with his thumb, enjoying the warmth radiating from it. Yeah, it's more than okay. Kyotani visibly relaxed and squeezed his hand a bit tighter. KyouHaba's heart was beating like crazy in his chest, but he couldn't be happier. It was almost 3 years since he felt like that. Maybe this would really end well after all. KyouHaba. He snapped out of his thoughts and locked his eyes with Kyotani's. Huh? I really want to do something too. KyouHaba tilted his head in confusion, worry spiking in his chest again. Okay. He shivered as a calloused hand cupped his cheek, Kyotani's breath ghosting over his skin now that he leaned closer. Just pull away if you get uncomfortable. In answer, KyouHaba closed those few centimeters between them. It wasn't the most perfect kiss he ever got, but just the soft touch of Kyotani's lips on his own was more than enough to set off fireworks in his chest. Maybe he could be happier after all. About 2 awesome hours later, he was waiting for his train to arrive, still feeling Kyotani's lips on his own. He couldn't recall the last time he felt so much like a love-struck teenager, nor would he ever expected a first date to end this well. And yet, here he was, blushing at the memory of the gentle touches they shared on the way to the station. He had already sent a short report to Watare, who may or may not have sent him to hell for making him feel single despite having a girlfriend, before promising he would call soon for more details. KyouHaba had to smile. He was utmost grateful for his team, especially Watare. It was mostly them who kept him above the surface 3 years ago and helped him when everything looked dark, and their still ongoing care was heartwarming. He didn't forget about his friends from his figure skating time, but his life now lay with curling and his team. And now, apparently, with a certain full-blown hockey player. His phone rang. So, how did it go? Spill it. I want to know every detail. KyouHaba blushed. It went well. At least I think so. We were at a small fair in a park I had no idea about. We had a good time, had something to eat, played games, and then he drove me back to the station. Oh? Already driving you around, huh? He's not losing time. Hey, he's just being nice because it was far. Okay, got it. But still, at least you know he has some money lying around. Shinji. Watari laughed. Alright, I'll stop. But how was he? I spoke with him just the day he invited you to the cafe, and he seemed quite nice. But appearances can be deceiving, so how is he really? Did you threaten him again? I just warned him not to hurt you. Oh, come on, we talked about this. I can assess people on my own. Yes, but I still wanted to be sure. I'm just looking out for you, okay? I don't want to see you getting your heart broken again. And it can tell you a lot about the person. He didn't even bat an eye when I warned him. He agreed straight away. That's a good sign. He doesn't get nervous about it because he wouldn't do such a thing. KyouHaba's heart fluttered. Not only because of the care from Watare, but also because of his words. He didn't doubt Kyotani's intentions since their first date, despite the awful first impression he gave away. He felt safe around the blonde, both from the outside world and from the man himself. But it was still nice to hear confirmation of that feeling from someone else. He's kind, for sure, and understanding. We met Oikawa-san at the fair. You know, that figure skater I competed with years ago, and he kinda found out that I used to do figure skating, but he didn't ask about it when he saw I don't want to talk about it. Good on him. What was next? We played some games and talked and he kissed me. There was a beat of silence on the other end. Huh. Just like that? Maybe I was a bit fast in character judgment. Wait, no, that's not... I initiated contact first when I asked him if I could hold his hand. And he asked if I'm okay with the kiss and gave me the option to back away. He was really nice about it and didn't ask for anything more than that. He heard Vatari letting out a relieved breath. Okay, good. I was worried I misjudged him this much. But seriously though, if he ever pulls that I'm paying for the date so you owe me sex crap on you, I'm kicking his ass. KyouHaba chuckled. Don't worry, he doesn't seem like that type. He's really considerate, I would say. And nice and really gentle. He got me a plushie. Oh really? He could hear Vatari smirking on the phone and felt heat rising to his face that had nothing to do with the surrounding cold. Well, I mean, yeah? My dear Shigeru, I think you are in love. KyouHaba gasped, unable to form a coherent sentence for a moment. Was he really? No, that wasn't possible. They've known each other for a little over a week. He couldn't possibly be in love already. No one could fall in love this fast, right? Was he taking things too fast? Maybe he should slow down. What if Kyotane... I can hear the cogs turning in your head. He snapped out of his thoughts, remembering he was still on call. Huh? Don't worry about it. I've seen how he looks at you, and I'm pretty sure he's pretty into you too. Just be you, okay? Did you agree on a second date? Yeah, on Friday. He's away the whole week because their season starts on Monday. Your treat or his? I guess both. He said he has a place in mind he wants us to go, but I don't want him to pay for me on both dates, so I'm paying this time. Okay, great. I expect a detailed report after that too. Of course you do. I'm just happy for you. This one might be a keeper, you know? That image made his heart beat faster in excitement. Well, I'll be going now. See you on Monday. Yeah, don't forget to bring that USB I lent you. He ended the call, a pleasant, warm feeling spreading through his chest. He wondered if Kyotane felt the same way about him and the possibility of them starting a relationship. He hoped so. He noticed his phone blinking with a new message. Yahoo, Haba-chan. It was nice seeing you again. Good luck on your future dates with Kyotane. Hajime swears he's a good guy even though he's so frowny. Come stop by sometime at the stadium. We would love to see you and talk a bit. Even Kunimi, though he would never admit it. You know how he is. Take care. He smiled at the messages, but his heart ached. He would love to see his old friends, but the stadium brought back too many memories. He couldn't even walk around it without being reminded of that one moment that turned his life upside down. He couldn't go there. Not yet. He tapped in a short reply and got on the train, already looking forward to his warm bed. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm honestly so happy about the, at least comment reception of Ice Hearts and you telling me that you love this AU. Thank you for that, because this one is my older baby in the midst of the bigger babies that I have right now. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.